guys, so we're looking at escaping the mount position here. So the first thing that we're going to look at is good elbow position. So if I get mounted, there's the difference between having my partner low in the mount and then having my partner advance up to a higher position. So if I'm able to get my elbows to the floor, I can keep my partner relatively low in the mount. And it's going to be much easier for me to escape this position. If on the other hand, Andy's able to start driving up and he gets my arms out of position, okay, even if he sits back here, it's now much harder for me to escape, and I'm also very vulnerable to arm attacks. Okay, I'm vulnerable to American lock and also straight arm bar. And it's just much harder to get out of this position. So I want to prevent my partner getting into a higher mount. Okay, so right when I get mounted here, I get my elbows flat to the floor. Okay, my first goal is to try to get one of my legs flat. Okay, so I'm going to use my hips, my left foot to bump and turn and get my leg flat to the floor. And once I have my foot flat to the floor, my partner's foot can no longer go underneath my leg. Okay, if my partner's leg is underneath my leg, it's going to be very difficult for me to get out. Okay, so I need to keep my elbow in the inside of the knee. I need to get my leg flat so his foot is stuck here on my knee. Okay. Now it's also very important that I get to my side. Okay, I want to get on my side so it's easier for me to scoop this foot up. Okay, but at the same time, I got to make sure that my other elbow stays on his far hip. I can't bring my arm through, otherwise he'll start turning to my back. Okay? So when I'm on my right side, I need my left elbow to stay heavy on the hip, and I'll just control his hip with my left arm. Okay, so my right hand's going to turn out. I'm going to start working his foot here. Okay, and this can take a while, but I'm going to scoop that foot up. Okay, once I scoop the foot up, I have some options. I'm going to start bringing my knee out, and depending on where my partner's weight is, if his weight's off to the side, I can open my hand up and I can escape to a traditional half guard and then look to transition back to the closed guard here. Okay, so I'm getting my leg flat. I'll bump, bring his hands to the mat. I'll keep my hand on the inside, and I use this outside leg to scoop. Okay, that's why it's important that I keep this leg flat. Otherwise, that foot will disappear, and there's no way I'm going to get that leg out. Okay, I'm going to scoop the foot up using my heel. Okay, and now my other option, if his weight is over the top of me, is just to swim my hand underneath. Okay, and I'm going to go to a deep half guard. And the way I do that is I use this knee to bump my partner's weight forward, and I walk clockwise here underneath. Now I have my shoulder tight underneath, and I have my other elbow tucked. I can tuck my hand, and I end up in a deep half guard position where I can look to either escape out the back door. Okay, if my partner started sitting down, okay, start rolling up on the other side. Okay, so we'll either finish in a traditional half guard or a deep half guard position on the mount. Okay, so right when I get mounted, I keep my elbows tight. I look to get my leg flush to the floor, and do a little bump with my outside leg, turn, open my hand out, okay, but I want to use my forearm. I don't want to push with my hand because it's too easy for my partner to pick the wrist. Picks the wrist, he slides up. Now it's going to be tough for me to get out once that knee slides up. So I'm going to wedge my whole forearm in there. That's all I need. And with my foot, start pulling, slip, and I either go to traditional half guard, okay, or I swim my hand underneath, and I end up going deep half guard by walking. Okay, I start walking clockwise. I use my knee and my shoulder to swim underneath. Okay, and I can look to go out. Okay. Or if my partner's sitting back, I'm going to look to start coming up. Reverse to the other side, come up on a single leg. Okay, so you have a variety of options. Okay, so one more time. Elbows in. Okay, I get my leg flat. I use my knee and my hips to bump, turn, catch, hold. And if I'm going to escape my hips to the side, it's much easier if my partner's weight is off to his right. Then I can just simply turn and face. Okay, but a lot of times he's overbearing on you, and it's hard to get my weight this way. That's how I'm just going to, his weight's leaning forward now. So it's so much easier for me to use my left arm and my left leg to bump and go underneath. Okay, and if his weight stays in his hands, I go out the back door. If his weight drives to his hips, and I come up on top. Okay, so that's a basic mount escape called that elbow escape, and it's a very effective, safe escape from the mount.